One of the questions that we are often asked about is what settings teachers should set for their Google Classrooms. To turn your settings on and customize them, you are going to log into your Google Classroom and navigate to the gear wheel in the top right corner. Most of this at the beginning here in the class details will just remain blank unless you really want to fill in that information regarding your room number or a subject and things like that. Most of our teachers leave that blank though. In the general section, a lot of this is also going to just be standard and whatever is set by Google Classroom. The invite codes, for example, are the ways that your students get into the classroom. Generally speaking, there's no need to change any of that information. The things below here are what we're going to look at. The first concerning section is the stream and classwork. We have a lot of teachers who reach out to us where they have issues with students being inappropriate within the stream. They're concerned about the quantity and quality of what students are posting as either individual posts or as comments on posts that the teacher has made. You do have the option to limit what your students can do. You can basically give them free reign of the classroom. They can make their own posts as well as comment on posts that you have made. You can set it to where students do have the ability to comment on posts that you've made, or you can restrict it so that students can't leave any comments whatsoever and that only teachers are able to post and comment. For many classrooms, this is actually the recommendation that we have. Classwork on the stream is more so just about how cluttered or crowded it seems. We know that when we look at Google Classroom assignments, we can see either just the title of the assignment and click on it to expand for all the details, which is the condensed, or we can choose to see the entirety of the assignment and the details and everything else. We also do have some teachers who prefer not to have those classwork notifications appear on their stream, but that's very few and far between. Beneath there, we have Guardian Access. If you are not using Guardian Summaries yet, I strongly recommend that you turn them on and connect the students with their parents. The nice thing about Guardian Summaries is that once they are set up initially, that Guardian is then tied to that student until they're manually removed. So this is very much a one and done thing at whatever grade level it occurs at, and then it will continue to be the case throughout the rest of that student's Google time here. As far as Meet Link settings, we know that our classrooms have a Meet Link, and that is how we will do our e-learning. If you are not in the midst of an e-learning day, we strongly recommend that you toggle that visible to students off. It just makes it a little bit more safe for our students as they are navigating your classroom. In the off chance that you didn't end your meeting appropriately, it's going to prevent the students from getting back in easily. The section that we're really excited about with our Google upgrade is what we can do within our grading section here. We now have the ability to do grading periods where we can choose start and end dates so that we can identify when our students grades and try to make them match the Aspen gradebook. So within here, you can create your grading period. So I could call it trimester 1. I believe that started on, let's zoom out here. I believe that started on August 21st was the student's first day of school. And I believe the end date is November 15th. I could add another grading period for try 2 and another one for try 3. And what that's going to do is it's going to make you sort of gradebook sections so that each of those dates will apply and it will calculate overall percentages and things to match those dates. Notice here that you also have a copy to other classes button. So this is kind of a one and done for you. As you set up your grading periods for one course, they will automatically, or you can make them automatically apply to everything else. From there, we can also add in a grading scale. So we can have our grading scale. We're going to decide we're doing letter grades for our students. So that's an A, B, C, D. What equals that on the grading scale? We also have the ability to do proficiency for those of us who are in an OSU type class, and so on. So we can come in here. If I want to do letter grades, I can leave these scores as set, 97, 93, and 90, and so on for our buildings. And again, I can copy this to other classes as setup. This is very exciting with our new feature where there is no 0 grades to be assigned. I can turn on a draft grade for missing assignments. And so what happens is anything that has a due date, and that is the key here, your assignment has to have a due date. Once that due date has passed, if the student has not completed it, Google Classroom will automatically apply a draft grade. And as we know, we're now working with 50%. So you can set it so that Google Classroom will automatically apply that 50% once the due date has passed. We have the ability to calculate our overall grade. We weight our grades by category here. We can choose if we're showing that overall grade to the students or not. And then we know that we have the ability to add our categories. So we can make our summative and make it be worth 70. And then we can add a grading category, and we've got our formative, and we can make that be worth 30. And that, you can tell, fills up our categories. When we do that, this should give you a gradebook equivalent of what happens in Aspen, so students can look just within Google Classroom and see an appropriate grade that should match what would go home on their progress reports and report cards. Those are all of the different class settings that are available in Google Classroom. It is absolutely a great idea to take some time and go through them and decide what's most appropriate for you and for your students.